Three, two, one. Come on, LinkedIn. Hook up. Well, at least we're live on YouTube. Yay! And I'm not pixelated. Cause last time I was pixelated as shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay.
Yeah, we just got off our podcast and it was a shit show with Chris's internet.
He's still in Thailand, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Whereabouts in Thailand are you, Nick?
I'm sorry?
Whereabouts in Thailand are you?
No, I'm not in Thailand. I'm back in Texas now, just outside of Austin. But Chris stayed in Thailand. He'll be there the next 3 months, and then I think he's either going to South Korea or Tokyo after that.
sounds like a plan. All right,
Yeah.
gentlemen, we're live. So
Rock and roll.
welcome to Odys Talks. Welcome back, everyone watching and listening to Odys Talks. Naturally, this show is presented to you by Odys Global, your one-stop shop for age domains, premium names, websites, and a number of additional services, including 301 redirects, Eat Audit, topic clusters, fully managed hosting, and a couple of other things as well. You can find it all on our website, odys.global. And today I'm joined by three more legends, which is also like an accidental CMSEO reunion of
Yeah, it
sorts.
is a bit, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll let you introduce yourselves in a moment. So, it's Karl Hudson of Searcharoo, James Dooley of FatRank, and a number of other things, and Nick Altimore of SirLinksaLot. So yeah, welcome back, James, and welcome Karl and Nick for the first time on the show. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and add whatever you want people to know about you? Karl.
I was going to say which one goes first. It's like an elevator pitch, this, isn't it? I'm Karl. I've been in SEO since 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time. Initially started in dating, sort of affiliates, pickup artistry initially.
Really?
The reason for that was I was really, really fat, so I had to learn how to pick up women.
Nice.
What
do you mean was?
Oh, too early. Too
Christmas
early.
weight, right? And then ended up getting involved in some casinos, became a shareholder in some casinos. We ranked for all the top casino terms in the UK for like 6-7 years, and then I'm currently exiting out that. Met Dooley in some masterminds. Had a headache ever since. And yeah, just sort of got involved quite heavily with Dooley on quite a few investments and different businesses, and that's kind of expanding from there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a way to start your SEO journey from casinos. Man, that's competitive. I mean, if you
Right.
learn how to rank casinos, there's no stopping to what you can do.
That is like, it is
Sure.
one of the caveats that someone says. It's like, oh, how much is a link in casino? It's like, well, how much is a link normally? And then you put an extra zero on there, and that's usually how much it costs
Good
for
to
the
go.
casino to buy it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Karl. Nick, why don't you go
Uh,
next?
Yeah, I'm Nick Altimore, founder of SirLinksaLot, director over there. And then I've got another company where I've got a handful of corporate clients, and then started taking positions in smaller companies maybe like 2 years ago. Some that have done well, some that have flatlined over the course of that 2 years. But I've been in since 2011, 2012. I was only just graduating high school in 2004, so I don't have the tenure that the other guys do here, but been around a while, gone through the ups and downs for sure. Was never really a technical guy. I don't mind admitting that. Was not a computer guy. Through my 20s, I bartended, fought MMA, and did not take anything seriously. Did a lot of traveling, things like that. Ended up working for a corporation that was backed by venture capital, where I learned about SEO. And within a year later, I was with my first business partner on our first endeavor, which basically turned out to be Freedom Links and a small agency that then kind of shifted and morphed into what is SirLinksaLot and what I currently do on the side.
Nice, cool. Thank you, James. Not that like you're
Yeah.
the most unknown person here, but still.
James, if anyone doesn't know me, do quite a lot of lead generation, rank and rents. Probably the last 18 months spending quite a lot of my time in investment opportunities. So like angel investments in certain websites that might be ODYS kind of domains where people have started to build it out, build some sort of topical authority and build some sort of backlinks, but they're worried to take it to the next level, which normally just means more content and more backlinks. But they're scared of doing that. They're scared of putting that investment in. So sometimes I come in there to say, look, I'll come and buy 50% of the site and we'll do it together. I'm happy to put the investment in to get it to where it needs to be. The good part of that is, and this is why I genuinely love buying I love buying ODYS domains, is because one thing that we're all restricted on is time. So if I can do anything that can save me certain time now, that's what I need to be doing. So the Odys domains gives me a kickstart, but also if I'm buying into certain businesses that have already kind of set a lot of foundations up and got maybe 70% of the way there, they just need that little bit of more topical authority and more backlinks. This is kind of the investments that I'm looking to continuously look for.
Huh, nice. You've pretty much stepped up your SEO game. Not that you haven't been doing businesses outside of SEO. As far as I remember, you weren't doing SEO in the beginning. Like you were doing building playgrounds and stuff like that.
Construction, so like
Yeah.
courts, netball courts, basketball courts, football pitches, playgrounds, stuff like that. That's kind of where everything started. Moved on from there then to try to get our customers busier, what I call shouldering niches. They could get busier, we would get busier, and then one thing led on to another, and we never kind of planned to see where we was going to get to, but it's grown and grown and grown, and I don't think I'll ever stop growing, if I'm being honest. Otherwise, I'll be in a grave.
Yeah,
Not
so
for
the next
a long time, my friend.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you break your hand in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for the intro. So let's kick things off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Yeah, how's that for a tribute for an MMA tribute?
I was well confused there. I was like, shit, about pressed about
I got
YouTube
confused too.
All right, let's just dig deep straight away, like from what we were talking about leading up to this conversation. As James mentioned, that there were quite a few manual action link penalties handed over the last week to multiple affiliate websites. So, guys, could you fill us in on this a little bit? Like, what's happened and how did you get out of it? Recover from it if you have already. How do your clients, I don't know, maybe partners, go about it as well?
So I'll start on that one because I've got quite a lot of data on it, and I'm very, very surprised that the amount of manual action penalties that are coming out of Google at present. I thought there'd be more algorithmic ones, which there still is, core algorithm updates and stuff like that. But the fact that they're still doing a lot of physical manual action, that's the message in Google Search Console coming out for unnatural link penalties or for transparency penalties and stuff like that. Mainly the manual action inbound, the unnatural inbound links penalty. It's quite scary, to be fair, how many have come through to us in the last two to 3 weeks. With regards to how many have recovered, none yet, because it's only been 2-3 weeks. So it can take 6 to 12 months. Around COVID time, actually, we was recovering a lot of sites with a reconsideration request for people, and Google just didn't come back to you for 15 months. So you do everything that you needed to do, and they just wouldn't respond for 15 months. Luckily now, the start of this year, they seem to have upped. I don't know whether they've just got more staff involved in, because this is manual employees by Google that you're going back and forward with. So it could be like a Karl Hudson at google.com type email address that when you're speaking to them and you've done your
I couldn't
initial
get that
outreach.
email. I tried.
Yeah.
Get that email.
But when you've done your initial kind of campaign of trying to remove the links and you've done your disavow and you've done your reconsideration request, you're in the hands of Google. At present, I think it was about 2.5 weeks ago was the first one that came through, and we've submitted that. We've had no response yet. But I'd say normally from this year, the way it's normally been 2 to 3 months before they start to reply. And you need to try to pretty much get it right first time, because you can go back to them, but when you're going back the second time and the third time, it can take longer and longer and longer before they start to reply to you.
I would also say, to follow on from what Dooley's saying, I think we're seeing an increase in them simply because of the increase of AI and AI content. It's becoming more and more, the imperative factor, what differentiates you against all of your competitors, is going to become more and more your links and your external, your socials, your links externally from the website pointing in. And I think that's kind of probably why they're ramping up that side, to try and help them, navigate what is becoming a big indexation mess, really, from people manipulating, AI and AI content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? You guys have, the data because you're doing these high-end audits, et cetera, right? So what kind of stuff are y'all seeing, out of curiosity, that people are doing as far as link building goes that are kind of getting them popped? Or have you seen any kind of things that you could mention?
I can mention some, Nick. So, do you know what the weird thing is? A lot of people think, and people have these debates about disavows, and they think that Google do a good job of ignoring spammy backlinks. And do you know what? 90% of the links on the internet, Google are good at ignoring. But some of these ones that are like the classic case of PBNs, Google don't like people doing PBNs because obviously it's manipulating page rank, it's homepage links that's going through. So if they can uncover a PBN network, then it can do it. But sometimes the issue is there's certain good quality websites that fall part of, that's not a PBN, but because it's on a bad link, like IP neighborhood and might be on easy blog networks or something like that, they fall foul of seem to be toxic and stuff like that. So, and there's a lot of actual guest post farms now that are PBNs that people, I know a few that was actually in Chiang Mai. I'm not going to mention the names, but there's a few in Chiang Mai, and what they do is they go buying domains. They specifically try to rank for different topics with right for us. Now, majority of actual link vendors, or majority of people that have got an in-house link building team, they go casino right for us. They go debt right for us, loans right for us, mortgages right for us, and they're going outreach to these websites. But these people are giving themselves up to try to rank for those terms. And they're basically just PBNs, but people are genuinely doing outreach to these sites thinking that they're buying guest posts, where actually they're buying PBN links. And and the amount of outbound links now that they're doing, these guest post farms, which are PBNs, it's becoming scary. And some of these people are paying good money. They're paying like £200-400 for a guest post, thinking it's and not only that, the DR's been manipulated to a DR 75. So they're doing what they think's right, and they've been taught to be right, which is go and buy a high DR site, like to go and get a decent link on a high DR site that's got traffic. The traffic's being manipulated, the DR's being manipulated, and it's just part of the bad link neighborhood. And it's becoming more and more difficult. You've got to have more and more parameters in place for your quality control, but then it becomes hard. It becomes hard to keep tracking everything, because you can't. The truth of the matter is, until you've been hit and until you start digging deep and you've been hit, it's only then you start to unfold. Oh, damn, what have I done here? Or, oh, look at what these have done. When you're actually just outreaching and trying to get some genuinely what you think decent links, people need to start looking further into stuff now. It seems, because there's too many people manipulating metrics.
And a lot of the time, what me and James also are looking at when we're doing the disavows and things, is there's a toxicity threshold that every single site will have, dependent on the keywords and niche that it's trying to rank in. So for instance, in casino, the threshold's going to be a lot higher. You know, it might be 3x the normal threshold. And it's kind of like sometimes people put a lot of filters on links, but actually sometimes they actually need to buy the toxic links to actually see a movement. And this is where it becomes quite tricky, is everyone's looking for that perfect link, but actually what ends up happening is like almost like a analysis paralysis, where they actually get so lost in trying to get the best metrics that they're actually not building any links, and they were probably better off just building some.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's a huge differentiation between the newer SEO that's auditing every 5 links that they get per month versus then, you know, you start getting into the automation process. And it's like, I can't tell you the last time that I ordered links and actually went through them for an asset, which, you know, you'd build like a team for that at some point, but sorry.
Oh yeah, the good old times of working from home, man. I sometimes actually miss it. You know?
Yeah. Well, but anyway, I mean, on a positive spin of this, Vlad, is that what we are seeing is when you're buying an old DYS domain, a lot of these domains that people are buying have been real quality sites that have actually had acquired good quality, non-toxic type of backlinks. So actually, when some of these people are buying, when a lot of these SEOs are buying your domains, they're buying some of these guest post farms links, but it's helping them, like Karl was saying, because you've already got your kind of structure in place of having nice kind of links that all the others don't have. When you start getting some of the toxic links, do still pass trust and power. When you're getting some of those, this is why we're seeing so many people just going like that on your domains, but they can never do it on a fresh domain. They go and try what they're doing on one of your sites on a fresh domain, and they can't do it. Why? Because all the links that they've bought are toxic. They've got some power and some trust, but they're all toxic. When they're doing it on one of your domains, they've got this kind of like fortress around the site of trust and low toxicity, that when they're going buying these links, all that they're seeing is jumps. And this is where I've been consulting with one or two really high level marketers, and he's don't get me wrong, he's sold some sites for 5-6 million plus, several sites doing this, but he can't rank new sites. And he kept asking me the question, why can I do this time and time again when I buy a site from Odys or Empire Flippers on existing site, but I can't do it on a fresh domain? And I was going through certain stuff, and he was like, what? And he understood it, and now he's started to buy more pillow links. Like, what I love about your link agency, Nick, is you don't just sell guests, you actually sell the whole package of pillow links, foundational links. You sell a full mix of everything, which I think's good. And I don't know if you ever consult any of your clients, but I think you should be making certain that they're not just buying power of PBNs and guest posts, that they are getting a blended mix of everything.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Part of the reason that we came up with this medley of links is because, I mean, we've been using them on our own assets forever, right? So the links that we're selling through SirLinksaLot are the exact ones that we use on our own assets. And yeah, we preach, especially like on our AMAs or any podcasts, diversification, not only of your anchor text profiles and what you're doing with your site, but of course of the types of backlinks that you're getting as well. And over time, I've found that majority of my projects, unless I'm getting really spammy or experimental with stuff, are well insulated even against algo updates, et cetera. And I think a huge portion of that is just diversification. What's the hardest thing to emulate is diversification, especially of the types of backlinks that you're getting, because not everybody has access to all these networks, right? I remember the first time I hit this light bulb moment in my head. Have a buddy who works for owns a cybersecurity firm. And I watched him put up a new hack that he had learned. That blog post got insane traction that very night. A site with maybe 10 to 20 RD got hit with about 1,000 RD overnight. And I watched in Ahrefs and Google search just this thing pop up, and I look through the backlinks and I'm like, okay, so this is what you would want to emulate. Like, what makes this special enough to like what everybody else is paranoid about? Well, we can't do this because link velocity is going to get us popped. Yeah, it's diversification of those assets that are backlinking to you, and then of course the anchor text profiles that are going. So once that aha moment kind of hit, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to shift just from PBN now to trying to figure out as many different link networks as I can get my hands on in order to diversify. And then, I've utilized that with success, mainly previously, injecting spam along with really clean links right out of the get-go on age domains, maybe even doing a 301 at the same time, and just having massive ranking spikes, which is getting, the spam isn't adding too much to that flavor as of lately. I liked it a few years ago a little bit better.
It's quite interesting that you said that. So we used to have, we still got people who like buy quite a few sort of what we class as tier 2 links, but they'll use them as tier 1.
Sure.
And it's usually it's in other countries. It's not necessarily in the UK or the US market. It'll be in other countries. But there was one case in particular where he literally, I remember the guy messaging. He was like, "Right, I'm buying 300 links, and I want them all to go live this month to this site." And we're like, "Oh, this is going to be a good test. Let's see what happens." Literally, I think
you're the boss.
Hit number one, like almost straight away for the
really
words. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, you can make stuff like that work, but it's always funny when a client comes up and is like, "This is what I want," and you advise against it, and it's like, ultimately, you're the boss here. Like, so long as it's not on the PBN where I think we're going to create like a footprint issue and I'm going to lose money on the deal, then sure, okay.
The only thing I'd say on that one though, Karl, is it was in foreign. It wasn't. It wasn't in the UK or US. I don't think it would have worked as well as what it did in the UK or the US. I think the diversification model works very well. We've had it a few times where we've actually done the opposite. So like this client is a big client and he's got lots of different websites in lots of different countries. And I don't want to give the niche away, because the client's a good client of ours, but he did it in a foreign market and he just popped straight away number one. And there's been times since then that he's asked us to do it in like a US market. We're like, he wanted to buy some Odys domains for 301s. He's all in now on like, I want 300 links within a month and I want 2 301s. And I'm like, listen, chill out. In foreign, you can do this and it still works very well. But you're just going to kill your site straight away if you're doing it in the US. You're not ready for it. And sometimes actually, by stamping your authority as a vendor who actually cares about the clients and saying, you're not ready for this, sometimes they've then got so much more respect for you as well. Like, sure. I'm sure you've had it, Nick, sometimes where they want to come and buy like 30 PBNs and you're like, and they're all exact match anchors or money keyword anchors. And you're like, no, you need some naked URLs. You need some no follows. You need some branded anchors. Like, you're not ready for these PBNs yet. You need these pillow links and foundational links to start with. And sometimes by saying that, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're only selling $200 worth of backlinks instead of £2,000 worth of backlinks. But you're hoping that long term, they're going to have that trust in you to say, they've earned a lot of money, so they keep paying you a bit to keep building up other niches is kind of the plan.
Yeah, $1 or $100 over a year versus a penny in a day, right? Like drop in the bucket versus long-term goal sets. I firmly believe that. I think that's probably a good amount of reason why we're all here. Kind of in the limelight in front of people is we've been preaching things honestly. I know that I use my products, you guys use your products. And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason that we've got quality checks and still that, stand the test of time. Like it's one thing. I remember when I was just selling PBNs exclusively. It was maybe 6-7 years ago when all the PBNs got popped real hard. Everybody was losing 20 to 60% of their network overnight. I think that created kind of like this ideology, at least for me, where it was like, if you really can't believe in your product, then it's going to show at some point in time, and people are going to shy away from you really quickly. Furthermore, if you're using your networks for your own assets, they're going to suffer too. So, longevity, I think, is, definitely worth thinking about, not only on your own projects, but not just making the quick buck. I've known a lot of SEOs over the years that were after the quick buck, and most of them aren't around anymore, if I'm being honest. Like you guys have been on twice as long as me. I'm sure you've seen them come and go nonstop. But yeah, I think the main place besides our AMAs, where we're auditing websites for people free, or answering questions, would be in our managed link building program, where they maybe don't have any concept of what backlinking is, and they just have found us somehow, and we'll do a full audit on the site and then give them an idea of what they want to do. And if they come back and pressure us, well, no exact match, no this, and this, well, here are the reasons we're going this route, and you're welcome to run your own campaign and order whatever the fuck you want on your own dime, right? But if you're asking us to manage this for you, then this is how we're going to do it. And the reason is because we're trying to produce longevity for your
What's
project.
quite interesting on what you just pointed out there was, I've actually been doing a little bit of a deep dive into, so I'm a believer in exact match anchors, but I think the main problem with SEOs are they overuse exact match anchors. And I think Dooley can attest, I do seem to rank quite a lot of EMDs, and it's generally because with EMD anchors, I try to treat that as it is an exact match. So I don't often build that often. It tends to be more branded. So I'll try and get rid of the gaps, make the word together, have a URL, or then I go down the generic route. And I think I've been researching it more and more. The hard part with, I love to be proven wrong as well. I think that's the thing with SEOs. You're trying to prove yourself wrong.
Challenge.
I'm actually seeing more and more the websites that actually rank in the best tend to they don't give a shit about the anchors. A lot of the time they aren't EMD exact match anchors. It's kind of click here's, read more's, check out this, branded. And it's very rarely an exact match anchor, and clearly Google's just picking up the words on the page and correlating words around the anchor text, which is giving it that specificity. And I'm seeing that more and more and more. And like one website I just looked at today, something like 30,000 backlinks, all saying click here. In terms of EMD backlinks, he had probably about 100 exact match spread across his whole domain. His traffic is just like that, 250 odd thousand traffic. It's just insane. So I'm busy going down that route now. I'm actually busy working on a post which I'm trying to grab sort of Ahrefs data of the top 100 to do an analysis, obviously using ChatGPT as well, which also helps, speeds things up a little bit, of what sort of anchor text ratios these websites are doing based off
that'll
the
be interesting.
amounts. That's one idea I came up with. It's just going to be a little bit of the pipeline, because obviously Ahrefs credit system now, I'm not actually rich enough to export that.
Yeah. I was hoping in Chiang Mai we'd get a discount code or some shit, but that did not fly. We got an explanation.
I just messaged Josh Hardwick, the blogger over there, and I was like, Josh, any chance you can send us exports? He's like, it's probably best you just do this yourself. I'm like, yeah, my pocket's not that deep, man.
Rough.
But no.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting little test. It's not something a lot of people want to hear. Hey, if you want longevity, hit your homepage more than your inner pages with just random or natural looking anchors, no money anchors. But am I not wasting all this money? No, you're not wasting it, but it's just it's a different game. But I think if you've got data to really give to
this is what sort of brought us down that route. Why don't we look at it? Because have you ever heard someone from Wikipedia go, shit, I need to do a disavowing technique?
Right.
Never.
Yeah, exactly. No.
And that's because they've got so much links coming in. So again, with the toxicity threshold, it's so low because they're getting links from everywhere. Yeah. And B, such a big variation in anchor texts. Obviously you would probably never, unless you had a big epidemic. Is it when COVID happened? Do you remember those statistic websites, world statistics, and how many links they were picking up overnight? Funny enough, they didn't get banned. But the problem is, obviously, you can't really replicate that same amount of link flow, and to get away with not hitting those toxicity thresholds, that's the main issue. Is you haven't probably got that budget or the brand reputation or something global going on that's going to build up those links, like your friend said.
So let's start a discussion now then, right? Now we're on the topic of
I'm just going to grab a drink, Tuesday.
Right.
Sure.
You've just bought a new Odys domain, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 1,000 referring domains going through to the site, and you feel it's a clean backlink profile. Are you specifically looking at that backlink profile to say, do you know what? I'm still going to wait a few more naked URLs or branded anchors just to give it that bit of a freshness before I start to build out links to the inner pages?
Yeah, solid question. So, I mean, my personal way of going about that, and I always start with an age domain, would be to mainly get links to the homepage, and I'm going to diversify. I'm going to start with pillowing all over again. I'm going to use guest posts, niche edits, maybe even some PBNs if I feel like it. Depends on how crazy I'm getting with this asset. Might even throw a 301 to it. But the main thing I'm going to focus on is just getting crawlability to that homepage and then building out as much historical data as I can on that website. So if it used to have 100 pages with, 5 links each going to them, I'm going to build those up either the exact same permalink, or I'm going to 301 it to something that I find is relevant via keyword research, and then I'm just going to start going. Now, I think you can start that way without even starting on link building, but my preference is if I'm building an asset, then I'm going to get started on content plan and then immediate emulation of press, right? So, the idea is this brand got bought up, press release, here is, who bought it, what reasoning, all to the homepage, all naked branded, whatever you are random. And then every single link that I build is going to be going to the homepage the exact same way, whether that's high authority or low authority. And typically, if I'm doing this, then it's going to be a mix of both. So yeah, that would be, and that's how I've been building things for a long time now. Unless I start straying and getting really kind of spammy with stuff. Like I've got a case study on SirLinksaLot where, this was a few years ago, but I got it to shoot up very competitive terms, and we were doing e-com at the time to around like 45,000 or so monthly traffic with an age domain, immediate 301, and something like an additional 400 different backlinks throughout the first month, right? But I was emulating basically what I saw my friend's website do back in the day, only I wasn't attacking an inner page. I was starting a new brand from scratch, and I just wanted as much press, in there going forward. What I would probably tailor off is all the Fiverr cheap gigs that I added there, just because, if I'm primarily going after a very clean backlinking profile, then sometimes I'll inject the spam just to leverage that much more crawlability if there is crawlability through those assets. But I think in recent, let's say the last 6-7 months, I've gotten more conservative about, these concepts. And if you look at that site, it's fucking tanked down. I showed you the other day, but I think that's due to helpful content mainly because I started playing around with AI and different thresholds of how much human editing was in there. And then I've got some auto-generated pages that just pull, different information from different affiliates that I've got. And there's no unique content on there, right? But for a while, it was working really well. And when this site was e-com and we had a warehouse down the street where we were selling these products, it made for good money. But that didn't work out. And now it's all affiliates. So I started getting kind of ballsy with what I was doing. And it's down to, I think at last I looked, it was like 3,500 from 45,000.
It's quite interesting that though. So me and James were chatting in Chiang Mai far too much. Ranking states, negative, positive, and neutral ranking states, and how your website can, say from the HTU update, would all of a sudden appear to be in a negative ranking state. So, the trend in impressions and clicks is probably going the other way as opposed to either neutral or positive. But then it's all about digging down into, where's your central entity? What is the central entity of the post or the site about? And then what's that core element of the post about? And then seeing, whether or not you're starting to go a little bit off topic, which because sometimes you look in Search Console and it'll be like that, or like that, as in this case, like that. But actually, if you dig down deeper into it, it actually might be only a few of the main pages that are actually like that, and then you've got some that are neutral and some are positive. So what you then need to work out is, okay, Google's seeing my website in this positive ranking state around this set of keywords. I should probably dig deeper into this set of keywords to try and bring the overall positive state up. And then, you know, maybe topically, like, sort of connect those nodes through to that state to try and connect it lexically. And then that way you should hopefully be able to get out of come the next core update, those negative ranking state pages should hopefully start turning a bit of a corner. That's kind of what we've been chatting on, because obviously we see a hell of a lot of these.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We've started buying a hell of a lot of these as well.
I'm sure right now is going to be a good time for an angel investor. You're unsure what's going on. I know how to get you out of it. Oh, yeah.
It's quite a lot of them though. Like, so with regards to some of the sites, believe it or not, do you know, like, probably the three biggest things that we're seeing, and I'll give it away of kind of what we're doing with regards to how we're recovering a lot of sites. And this hasn't just been the helpful content update since September. I'm on about, like, literally the last 4 or 5 core algorithm updates.
James, before you give this away, do you want to give us a call first, just to let us know what you can
Make sure. No super secrets here.
One is obviously we spoke about before, the toxic links. They scaled out too many backlinks to the site that are toxic. Just need them removing. So literally all what you're doing is removing, like, doing the disavow and removing some links can get you back to a positive ranking state. 2 is everyone's become absolutely obsessed with topical authority. They've gone too broad. They've gone away from a central entity like what Karl's talking about and started talking about, like, they're a lawnmower website affiliate and they're doing really well. So now they're starting talking about hedge trimmers, and you go, no, hedge trimmers is fine. It's still gardening related. And they start doing really well. So they go, oh, I can make good money off doing gaming chairs. And, like, gaming chairs has got fuck all to do with gardening. Yeah. And this is what they're doing. They're going too broad. And then they haven't got topical authority on gaming chairs or gaming and mouse pads and all the rest of it. And when Google then starts not liking, because they're not ranking all these pages that they did like, their cost of information retrieval is costing them a lot more to the site. Yeah. So disavowing links, removing links, literally deleting content, doing content pruning. So it's like you're going looking at a site, and normally, as an angel investor, we've not actually started doing them yet on the sites that have tanked, but I prefer it to be in a positive ranking state. Come along and build more content, build more links, and help them grow. Some of these other ones, to be honest with you, the reason why I've not is because if I come in and it was doing 100 grand a month and now it only does 5 grand a month, obviously I'm only going to want to buy in at 5 grand a month because I need to try and recover it. And if I recover it, I just feel that they'll think like I've done them over. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I just feel, do you know what? Yeah. Like, I don't do it for the money. I want to grow with my partners and have success. I don't want to go and take over a site that's been hit when they'll probably go, well, just tell me what needs recovering. And sometimes you don't know the exact thing. You just need to, like, line up all the ducks in a row, do the disavow, sort your EEAT problems out, delete some of the content, maybe improve some of the content, and then maybe do some new links that are non-toxic and trusted, and find your content gap. It's just classic SEO of what's needed, but people just get greedy and go too broad and too big, and that's where a lot of the problems end up coming along.
Do you not think also sometimes what I think happens is, obviously, like you hit the nail on the head, they get a bit greedy, you know, they're seeing a lot of money, but then what ends up happening is they're making so much money that they kind of forget about the basic stuff. Yeah. So the sort of stuff that initially got them there becomes lost in the memory because they're making so much money. And they've been making it for a while, right? So then they're like, oh shit. And then you actually start speaking to them and you just start telling them the basic stuff, and they're like, yeah, I don't do that. Oh, we don't do that.
No, yeah.
You can see them go, why do I not do this anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I've been seeing a lot of affiliate sites, especially lately, that, I mean, it's like they come in for an audit and you look at it, you go, this is basically a guest post farm site. Like, you are spread out all over the place. I understand you've done good keyword research, but it's not based on any particular thing. In the time of, like, what was it? 10 Beasts, right? Was the website, or 6 Beasts, right? 10 Beasts.
10 Beasts.
I feel like I haven't seen anything like very general like that work in a long time. And maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but I think the time is now for being very niche specific and making sure you're filling out all these topical maps, where you're going to suck out profit until you've exhausted that entire niche.
I think there is still some big sites, like you're talking, like a 10 Beast, that still does work. But I think the issue is nowadays the content's become that easy to scale en masse that people are forgetting that every time they're adding new, like in our internal processes, generally speaking, and this is, I'm not saying this is a good process to have, but this is kind of, it gets their mindset this way. Every time you're adding a new page, you need a new backlink. Stop trying to scale and do 300 new pages and don't get the kind of the power that you need that's going to give the crawl budget to allow them to get indexed and allow them to get picked up. So you had 10 new pages, 10 new backlinks. You had 20 new pages, 20 new backlinks. Like, people become obsessed with topical authority, and don't get me wrong, when you buy an ODYS domain, it's to start with. You can probably go and do 300-400 pages and it can work well because it's got an existing backlink profile that supports that. But if you're trying to grow from that, then, and you start wondering why things are flatlining, well, you're not building any links and you're building loads of new content. You need that kind of velocity going, or at least, if you don't like buying backlinks, at least try to write some sort of articles that might acquire
link bait,
natural
backlinks, like stat data, data studies, stats, stuff you can share on social media that might get picked up and go viral on social media and naturally attract some sort of backlinks. But generally speaking, as your content velocity goes up, your link velocity needs to kind of go in parallel with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's time of do all the things. Like, there's no half-assing one side and then getting really lucky. Like, anybody who's not doing everything at this point in time is doing themselves a disservice, no doubt about it.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Vlad?
Yeah, I was actually trying to get to the point that Nick just made.
Sorry.
And it's been going on for a while.
That's a bit of a comment. Exactly what Nick said. That's what I was going to say.
No, I was actually going to say that it's it's about like doing all the stuff, and like you, James, mentioned in our conversation leading to this conversation, that if you're not doing like display ads, renting Facebook pixel out, affiliate links, sponsored posts, and all the other things, you're just leaving money on the table and not making the profit that you could have made if you've been doing all of that stuff. So this was the thing I wanted to say.
That's another thing for the ODYS members. Like, too many. It'll be interesting to see like what other, like when I sent the message in the other night about different ways of monetizing stuff. Sometimes we're getting on the mentorship calls with certain people, and they think you can only build a site on an Odys domain and just make affiliate commission or just do display ads. I'm like, why are you not trying to find multiple sources of monetization? Like, have you ever done that, Nick, on some of yours when you talk about like the affiliate? Like, this, if you get the sites that are that big, sometimes some of these big brands will rent your Facebook pixel from you. People don't realize you can rent that out for £4,000 or £5,000 a month. Put that budget of £4,000 or £5,000 a month into 301s, into links, into content. Like you said, doing all things. But some people become obsessed by, if they are good at the SEO, they go and build out a great site. And this is another reason I try to do it when they're on the upward trajectory, that if they're good at what they're doing, I'm just pretty good. I'm just a good businessman. I'm just pretty good at looking at a site going, you're not renting your pixel out, I can get you £5,000 a month there. You're not doing affiliate. You're just doing display ads. Why don't you start putting some affiliate kind of deals on this display ad? You're only making money by Mediavine or Ezoic or whatever. Try to get multiple sources of revenue of how you can be earning money on the sites.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I feel like that's something. I mean, I'll even admit that it happened to me, that I got pigeonholed early on, like because I got so obsessed with SEO and trying to make it work, and everything was hitting me on the head and shoving me back down. And this was for multiple years trying to figure this out. Like I said, I'm not historically not a technical guy. This was all a fucking crash course in figuring this stuff out, but a desire to make it work, right? And I think about it now and I'm like, man, if I could go back in time, I would have diversified what I was doing. SEO would have been something I'm learning, sort of like an internship as I'm running ads or doing something that's a bit like easier to structure early on. And I know that's like talking about, you spending money to get the outcome versus you taking in money. But I think on the opposite paradigm, the same thing kind of happens, which is you get pigeonholed. You finally find some success. You've got this affiliate site that's running great off Amazon. You've got your few grand a month coming in. All of a sudden, you're comfortable after the first time in a long time, and you let everything slip out the window unless, like you said, you're business minded and it's like, well, shit, now I've got this asset. How can I really diversify where these funds are coming from? And in turn, it's the same as what we talked about with link diversification of everything, including income streams, right? That's going to insulate you. If you get popped by organic issues, ads is great to insulate you against that pop. Same thing with everything else, keep your eyes open. And I think you're going to be able to do a lot better in this business. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity that people aren't even checking out. I remember the first time I heard about renting a Facebook pixel, but can you hear him in the background? Sorry.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course we
he's
do.
watching Transformers, bro. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only way I can keep him away right now. But yeah, that was years ago. And I remember thinking, oh, whoa, you can actually, trade off Facebook pixel, etc. But there's a million different ways to skin the cat once you've got something up in ranking. That's just simply the way it is. It's just about having that creative outlet and time to kind of look at it and go, well, where can I try, right? But I think that's another thing. Affiliate is easy. Once you're monetized, it's low effort in the sense that, well, I just rely on them for my money and I don't have to cold call. I don't have to email. And like for me, when I got my start in SEO, it was purely as a cold caller for a soulless corporation. But in there, I learned how to speak the language even before I understood what SEO was, right? So that allowed for marketability as soon as I was looking for clients, once I figured out some recipes. But yeah, agreed. Always sorts of opportunities right there to.
Awesome. There's a question, actually 2 questions in one from Johannes Faupel. Hey, Johannes. Okay. Huh?
He's a legend.
All right. So he's asking, what is your central entity of life? And the follow-up question is, what can other business owners learn from that? Those are 2-in-1 questions for all 3 of you.
Go on, Karl.
Let's get philosophical here.
Central entity of life. Okay.
Yeah.
So like what drives you basically? What gives you forward momentum?
Have fun. I quite enjoy SEO is great and the lifestyle's great, but it's more about building the bridges with the people that you meet in and then getting very, very messed up. There's a lot of regret in there as well. Very, very
no doubt.
But no, definitely more, building good relationships with people, not just talking about money and business, people that you can actually like go on holiday with, enjoy, just enjoy time with them. And, we're all on this planet for a limited amount of time. Some of us probably a bit less than others due to poor habits evolved. Yeah, that's probably my central entity towards it. And obviously, I really enjoy doing the tech work. So I actually quite enjoy doing SEO. Not a lot of SEOs that actually enjoy doing the SEO, but I actually quite enjoy that bit and quite into it, although I don't appear it I'm quite into that. I quite like to just sit in front of the computer and kind of work away and not really get disturbed. I'm often just sat alone in a quiet room. With me phone on silent. I was going to say before you got in, with me phone on silent. But yeah, just that I would say that's my core. What was the other one? What's the second bit?
What can other business owners learn from that?
Oh, well, that's obvious. Just build better bridges, better connections. Some of my like business partners, like Dooley and things, some of the best business partners I've ever had. And I'd like to. Although he's going to start crying soon. I'd like to think we've both grew together and kind of help each other on the journey. So I think just keep building bridges and don't stop, because again, diversification as well, not just diversification of income, but knowledge. You get to share knowledge, different backgrounds, different experiences with people, and that helps you diversify and grow as a person, I guess. Boom, that's
James, Nick. All right, James, Nick, who wants to go next?
Go on, Nick.
Sure. All right.
Go on, Nick. Go next.
Yeah, okay. I don't mind this question, but I feel like it's like whenever questions get brought up like this in our AMAs, Chris gets mad at me because he hates when I get philosophical. But I read at least probably like 30 minutes of philosophy a day, and I focus on specifically like when I wake up. I think stoicism is something that, I just always find myself thinking immediately when I wake up. And a lot of people think this is macabre, but I focus on the fact that I will die. My time is finite. I don't know when. So what am I doing with my time? And I'll even look at my son sometimes, and this is something that Aurelius did as well, but he would look at his son, he'd say, he's going to die. And it's a painful thing to think about. But in doing so, you analyze your time, what you're doing with it, what's important to you, and you're automatically set for your day, right? So with me, like I said, I was never a career-oriented guy. Like I went to university, graduated with a marketing degree. Originally, I was studying neuroscience. I wanted to be a doctor, and I'm like, started working in bars, partying, and I'm like, I don't want to go to school for that long. I'm not interested. Got whatever quick business degree, left, kept bartending, started fighting. Like I said, I traveled a lot, did a lot of like long, arduous excursions in my 20s that amounted like to a lot of like human equity in the sense of like how I thought, but not any kind of like monetary stance, right? And when I came back from a very difficult trip where I rode motorcycle to Alaska and back, that's when I like finally was like, okay, I'm about to be 30. I don't really have anything to show for it on like a career level, right? But I do have experience that's like made me go through some painstaking stuff that I can, then go sit. And I remember like cold calling right then and there. I looked down at the script. There's like 30 or 40 of us that we just got hired on. And there's a sales floor out there of about 250 people. They're like, you don't deviate from the script. Just sit here and you read the script. And I remember like being depressed, looking down at it, and I go, it's the same as when you were fishing commercial fish in Alaska. Like somebody else can do it, shut the fuck up and just do your job and see where it goes, right? But I think that's like one of the big things is just see where everybody's on their own trajectory. To compare yourself to other people, to get envious of other people is, and this is a quote, it's the killer of joy. I can't remember who said it, but it's fucking true. And I feel like if you're aware of you're on your own trajectory and you're focused on not what somebody else has had come into their life, but what you have had come into your life that you can grab onto and explore, they're not always going to be huge wins for you. But in that exploration, you're kind of becoming a more whole human being. So I take those aspects and I apply them to work. Like I said, I wasn't a technical guy, but my desire to spend my time on challenges versus I don't watch sports. I've partook in a lot of sports, don't watch sports. I don't sit in front of the TV for long periods of time. I don't play video games. Typically, if I'm not doing something that's work related, I'm still doing something that's work related because it's something I value. So like on the weekends, if I want to relax, I'm gardening. I'm learning about gardening. I'm working on the cars. I'm learning about mechanics that I don't really understand, right? But I'm doing something that is fine tuning my brain to a new experience, right? And so I think in doing that, it's given me, like, I remember on a computer, I could never relate. And this is kind of funny, but in navigating SAP links back in the day, when I first found out about that and they were asking me for my passport and shit, that was like the right kind of thing I needed to find to just be like, ooh, this is adventurous. This is fucking weird. And I can relate it to, you know, regular life. But here I'm adventuring on a computer. It's 5 a.m. I'm by myself. And then recently, like with crypto and being in 24/7 degenerate Telegram groups where you're in there with all your boys and maybe you're having a beer or two and you feel like, you know, you're partying and making money. You know, it all adds to that, but it's all about the adventure for me. And knowing that at some point the adventure runs out, I want to just explore, like nothing more. I think what Karl said is very important. It's about the exploration and what you build, right? Like whether that's relationships, companies, whatever, like all of this will come and go. But I think in wanting to create, you're going to be able to create a whole lot more value out of your life than somebody who is timid to want to do those things. But, you know, it's subjective, I think.
Nick, the quote is, comparison is the thief of joy.
Okay, there we go. Yes. Who said it? Do you know?
What, Roosevelt?
Roosevelt?
Okay. All right. Yeah. I knew I always like the quote. Yeah. James Dooley said it. And if you watch his videos, then you'll know he's a man of action. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it.
To be
All
fair,
right,
I do
James.
say that a lot. It's definitely not my quote. It's been around for centuries, but comparison is the thief of joy, for sure. What you two guys said absolutely hit the nail on the head. The essential kind of entity of life for me is love. And I don't just mean it in love for my wife or just for my kids or for a close family. I'm on about love for and the passion of what you do. Like I actually do love gaming SEO. Like I see it as a game. I love that part of it. I love the negotiation in business. I enjoy doing that. I love teaming up with people from all over the world that have come from different cultures. And understanding where they've come from as well. And like you said, everyone's on a different trajectory in life, and that's fine. But actually, sometimes I want to be part of other people's trajectory. I want to try to elevate others, genuinely want to try to elevate other people to do better. And then you start growing a love for business partners because you're spending a lot of time together with regards to friendships and stuff like that. We have got a finite amount of time. Like you saying, we are all going to die at some point. So I try to change from a work-life balance to a work-life integration. Like this is going to sound very, but I enjoy working with Karl. We've got 4 or 5 different businesses with Karl, and I enjoy working with him because he's motivated, he's driven, but he likes to have a good time. We share a lot of similar kind of traits of going on nights out, having a good time, having a smile on our face with whatever we do. If we get it with an algorithm update, we know that's fine. We're going to recover from it. How we're going to recover, I don't know yet, but we will recover. And then we can share time, go on holiday. He comes to our house quite a lot. He comes to my mum's house a lot. He knows all my family.
I think I saw y'all started doing acro yoga together, right?
Oh God!
I think I saw that.
No, that was the most stiff person.
We got kicked out the yoga class because he was too loud. That was the problem. I'm trying to find me zen. I was trying to find me zen, hitting them dark places.
Oh, that's funny.
And he was just laughing, and then we're getting kicked out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for the answers. There are a couple more questions from Kazra Dash. Kazra, first one's for Nick. Well, it wasn't the first one, but I'm going to read it out first. Nick, what's one stoicism book you have read and recommend?
I mean, if you haven't read Meditations or at least like gone through it and then found whatever's right for you on that particular day, that's main thing everybody reads. But
Peter
like a
Drucker's
recent
quite
one.
good.
Do what?
Peter
Which one?
Drucker, the Daily Stoic. Peter Drucker.
Oh yeah. That's good. And then another, like a newer one, would be Ryan Holiday's "Ego is the Enemy." I think is definitely worth a read. He's put up a bunch of good stuff. First stuff I read from him was actually marketing related, which is how I found him. But it seems like mainly he's transferred over to Stoic principles now. But that, and then I feel like once you start there, you can kind of find other things that you can always blend in with Stoic practices, but I don't think it's often correlated to Stoicism. But 48 Laws of Power or anything by Robert Greene, I feel like are very good broad picture kind of books that help you in business and in life.
All right. Thanks, Kezra. I hope this answers your question. And another question from Kezra as well. I know we're going over the hour, but if you still have a couple of minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a question for all three of you. You have 5K to spend in links on a new website. How do you do it for a brand new e-com store?
I would go about, as a brand new domain as well, I assume, let's say it's a brand new domain, I'll go about acquiring probably Odys domain, one of the cheaper ones, which has a decent link profile, probably semi-connected to at least semi-connected to the entity that I'm hoping the e-com store is about. And then I would probably go about creating a post, 301 redirecting that post through to that post on the e-com, the domain through to the post on the e-com store. And then that's going to hopefully pass that leverage of power. Obviously, make sure there's plenty of internal links on that post to your main subjects. And then I would probably hit the site with a press release, talk about the acquisition of said brand, sort of make the connection there that, this brand's been bought and it's a legitimate purchase. Make sure all your EAT factors on the page, and then I'd probably be building up just a bunch of links after that. So foundational links. If you can do citations, if it's an e-com store, you can probably get away with some citations as a physical store. Do some citations, do some forum links, all those sort of fun links just to build up that basic profile, and then guest post niche edits after that. You can probably get quite a bit of that done. The guest post and niche edits part will be the more expensive bit of that whole equation, which will probably have to continue beyond the 5K, but I would say that would be a good benchmark personally.
Cool. Thanks. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely there. If you're starting off with a new domain, find an age domain, 301 it over, start a backlinking campaign. If I've got $5,000, this is entire budget, right? $5,000 entire budget, maybe a half and half split or somewhere around there between content and backlinks. You agree? Thanks. And get moving from there. Typically, like historically, maybe I'd inject some spam in there, but I think now I'd keep it nice and tight and clean. Especially with 5K, that's probably about what I'd do.
I do. To be fair, exactly what Karl said. So, get an age domain from Odys, 301 it. Line it up with the relevance to an existing page to say that you this new site has acquired that. Get the press release going to that page, but also to the home page. Again, the lines up and connects the two domains together. Citations, you've got an address, forum links. Try to get a few cheaper guest posts and some niche edits initially just to try and do it, and then hopefully just try and get it earning something and then reinvest it. £5,000 not enough, basically. You need to then start buying some more links to the site to give it that boost. And then you obviously need quite a lot of content. But I tell you what, I'll flip it. I'll give you a knowledge bomb, right? So many sites at present are being hit with affiliate. If you know anyone that's selling any sites that have been hit hard with affiliate, right? and they're seeing the Google traffic that it's gone down to pretty much nothing. That's 90% down, and they're struggling, and they're thinking, "Oh, I'm giving up." If you go and buy an ODYS domain, right, that's got more than 2,000 referring domains ideally to the site, and you run a 301 through to the site that's been hit, one, start to see whether it starts to get the recovery back. I pretty much, in some cases, it will start to show recoveries because this massive link injection gets it to completely start rescoring the site. And this is after the core algorithm updates happened. So 301s after these core algorithm updates are actually working better than they ever have. I don't know if anyone's done it in the last 6 weeks or not, but they're working well. If not, still do it and watch what happens with it in Bing. And people don't talk about Bing. And the amount of money that I'm seeing people at present making money from Bing is unbelievable. And people go, "Oh, but Bing only gets 10% of Google traffic." You've only been hit by Google with regards to, let's say, a helpful content update. Bing's algorithms are completely different. And for some reason, Bing seems to love better than ever an injection of new, I think it's since the AI, everyone's scaling content and not building enough links. If you're doing some of these 301s with ODYS domains that have got a decent backlink profile, go and set up Bing Webmaster Tools and watch your traffic kind of skyrocket. And actually, if you've been hitting Google, just try and optimize for Bing moving forward, because you can still make, I know some people in affiliate still making 30, 40 grand a month just with Bing, literally with Bing traffic. So instead of just talking about the 5 kind of grand on things, I'm hoping there's some bigger clients in here that might have a site that might have a 10 grand budget to buy a decent ODYS domain instead of one of the smaller ones that can do the 301 and line up the relevance and do the press release and everything else with it. And if you've not set up Bing Webmaster Tools, go and do it ASAP and watch what happens.
Making me feel lazy because I am being, I've been ignoring it for a long time.
Have you got Bing Webmaster Tools set up, Nick? Because it might be
for SirLinks, yeah, but like for any of my other assets, I'll be honest and say no.
Yeah.
All right, guys, gentlemen, do we still have time for one more question?
Go on, fire away.
Yeah.
Okay, USN Medic 09 is asking, do fresh domains even have a chance nowadays, even with link building?
Some of my biggest successes in the gambling industry were off pretty much brand new domains.
Yeah, actually, so latest project that I took on very seriously is co-ownership of a company in the travel niche. Started a little over 4 months ago, and we're already ranking on page 1. Now, mind you, it's local, and there's not a ton of competition. However, I opted because of that to use a fresh domain, EMD, which is my favorite way to go, and haven't 301'd any relevant domains or anything to it yet. At some point in time, I may go that trajectory, but for now, I mean, talking about a local site, not an affiliate site or anything, but 4 months, page 1 rankings, brand new EMD.
So my answer to that is obviously, like what Nick and Karl just said, yes, of course you can rank a brand new domain, but do I do that? Not very often. I've got a finite amount of time, and if something works better and I can get a head start in a race, I'm getting a head start in a race, and age domains get you a head start in a race.
And often, like with some of these age domains as well, if you were to buy them same links, it would cost you so much more money than what it is to actually just buy the domains.
Yeah.
So that is obviously another key selling point of it, is you can actually hack a lot of time and link power just by acquiring. Obviously, I wouldn't go down the route of only buying 301s. I've seen people do this before, and it becomes their main link building tactic is they just keep on buying domains and 301s. I'd say you can get away with a few of them. Don't go haywire. I've seen people where it's like 10, 15, 301 redirects. It's like, dude, come on. Like, everyone knows you take the piss here, right?
Super conglomerate.
So yeah, definitely like, yeah, I would say like new sites do work, but you can definitely hack time by, using an old one or using a 301 redirect.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your answers. Thanks
Another
for
thing
all the
as well,
knowledge.
actually,
Yeah, sure.
another thing is,
Go on.
don't be scared. So one of the websites I've bought actually is it's in like garden furniture niche, and it was just a website, a domain that was just sort of sat there. Don't be scared to reach out to the website owners themselves and just say, are you willing to sell your site?
Yeah.
Like, you'd be surprised how many will actually be willing to do that. And again, then you don't really have sometimes like the domain drops or whatever, and you lose that little bit of power, etc. And you can actually hack a bit of content back as well, because you save a bit of money on the content side and stuff like that. And then buy a 301 redirect and chuck it into the mix for your link building side. Yeah, that's another little thing.
Huh. Cool. Awesome. So once again, thanks for all the answers. Thanks for all the knowledge bombs you dropped today. It was a hell of a conversation. I didn't have much to do today, which is actually like wonderful when it happens. When this synergy happens between the guests, it's just the most wonderful thing that can happen on the show. And you guys did just that today. You did the magic. So yeah, this is going to be it for now. You can go to Odys Global /mentors and reach out to James or Karl and book a coaching session. By the way, if you book, if you go to Karl's page, booking page, let's say, you will see that among his live coaching sessions, there's also the email consultancy subscription, which is a new thing in our mentors program. Karl,
So you get
could
really
you spend a minute to
really badly wrote email from me every so often whenever you email. I often have ChatGPT write it just to get a response back to you. Yeah, it's kind of just I believe it's a process. Svetlana just mentioned it to us recently. I was like, yeah, sure, sign us up for that. Why not? I think, is it a 48-hour turnaround or something like that?
24-hour response time.
48-hour response time. No, basically 24-hour response time. Yeah, ping an email through, and you kind of like get advice from us. Whether or not strategic advice, whatever. So, is this link? Do you think this link's worth it? I would rather focus more on strategy as opposed to what links are worth what. Primarily because of kind of the logic, but just buy links, just stop being, but as Dooley would say, stop being a pussy about it. Just buy links. But yeah, that's kind of the logic behind it. Is it's a bit more cost effective when you kind of have a mentor on tap, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So here's that.
Did not prepare
thank
us
you
for that question, by the way. I had
I'll
no
let
idea.
you talk.
Sorry.
What was it, James?
No, I'm saying let you talk.
Yeah, I know you weren't prepared. This is why I asked you to to talk about it for a minute. All right, I will not hold you any longer, and I just want to thank you once again for doing this, for joining the show, and for these wonderful noises on your background, Nick.
He held it together for a little over an hour. I'm like, okay, that was actually pretty decent. I was kind of worried about this, but yeah, he might get a little morning ice cream or some shit.
All right, stay tuned for the next episode next week, next Wednesday. We're going to have a few more decent legends as well. So just stay put and follow us on social media and check your inbox on Wednesday. So yeah,